G'day, my name's Mark, I'm 33, I'm Australian, and I'm currently in the cemetery at St John Pied de Port in southern France. I'm just about to embark on the Way of St James, which will take me 800 kilometres across northern Spain. Why am I doing it? I suppose I'm searching for something, searching for some sort of meaning. I'm going to try and document my journey. I'm going to try and make it real, capture the good and the bad. I'm not going to worry about making mistakes. And I'm going to try and do it in the now, like as it happens. So it won't be a normal sort of historical tourist video. I'm really not an expert on the Way of St James, but hopefully it'll reveal something about my journey and people will be able to relate to that. So join me. I arrived in St John Pied de Port yesterday, and I didn't start filming yesterday. I sort of wasn't sure which way to do this, to make it. I was having doubts in regard to doing the whole documentary. I've been lugging probably 10 kilos of gear, extra gear, camera gear, to walk 800 kilometres. Must be a bloody madman. But it's something I'm going to try and do anyway, see how we go. Well, here I am on the first day of my walk. Behind me is the Spanish Gate. Before me is past Roman legions, Charlemagne's army, Napoleon, so it's been around for quite a while. Today I go to Rozenvals, 27 kilometres, and I'll climb to a height of about 1,300 metres, and it takes about 8 hours. Some say it's one of the hardest days of the walk, so that's all ahead of me. Pilgrims can be recognised by their staffs and by their scallop shell. So here we go. Here I am at the Virgin of Bayacori, or Orison. It's meant to take 3 hours and 45 minutes. It's taken me about 5.5, and I've still got over 4 hours to go. So it's pretty hard going. I'm not really the fitness kind of guy, but we're getting there. Well, I made it to Rozenval. I didn't film last night mainly because I was too exhausted. Yesterday was probably the hardest day of physical exertion I've ever done. And towards the end it was just a matter of survival, trying to get in here. So I didn't film the beautiful woods that you walk through to get into Rozenval. I didn't film last night in the refuge. I got in at 6, so I started at 8 in the morning. I got in at 6 and I was just stuffed. It was very hard. I'm starting to realise I'm probably carrying too much gear. I've got 18 kilos, 40 pounds with all the camera gear. When old ladies are walking past me, you're probably carrying too much gear. So today will be a big test as to whether I can do it, continue on carrying the gear and also find the time to document my travels. But at the moment I'm feeling good. The aching muscles of yesterday are still there, but I'm ready to go. So let's see how it goes. Well, the going seems to be a little bit easier today. There's less hills, and I was just thinking, what have I learned so far? Well, I think the El Camino is a bit like life. You have the ups and the downs, and when the going's hard, take a break, catch your breath, and then move on. Simple, really. Well, I've made it to Pamplona, which is famous for the running of the bulls, and also a place visited by Ernest Hemingway, who shares my birthday, the 21st of July, so hopefully Ernest will instill on me some good storytelling skills. It's probably a good time to explain some of the history of the Way of St. James. St. James the Greater was beheaded in Jerusalem in 44 AD, and it's said that two of his disciples took his body by boat to Galatia in northern Spain. In the 9th century, it is said that a hermit was led to his gravesite by a star, and ever since the Middle Ages, or ever since then, it's been a pilgrimage site. It's also said that the Celts predated the Way of St. James by following the route, because it goes along the Milky Way. They followed the route via stars, and many also believe, of the esoteric nature, believe that as above, so below, and that the Way of St. James is a major power source. And after the amount of distance that I've walked in the last 3 days, I'd have to agree with that, because I really seriously don't think I could have done it at home. Something seems to push you on, and when you're on the route, and I've talked to other pilgrims about this, when you're walking, all your pains seem to go. You just keep going, which is quite amazing. Well, today it's virtually rained non-stop, and the tracks have pretty much been turned to mud from all the pilgrims walking along. So pretty hard going. I suppose you sort of wonder what you're doing on a day like today. Like, I've never done anything like this before, walking through the rain all day. About half an hour into the walk, my knee was playing up, and I thought I wouldn't be able to walk at all, and I was sort of surprised that after walking on it a bit, just without bending it, keeping the legs straight like a pirate, I managed to go all day. It's been a hard day anyway. I'm nearly there too. I can see Porto Larena in the distance, so only about 2 more kilometres. Serafín. Well, another day of rain. And I suppose if there's one thing the El Camino has taught me so far, it's how one can push through pain barriers. Last night I was finding it hard to even walk down a flight of steps. My legs are fairly sore. I don't know whether it's from carrying so much weight or lack of preparation. But I've got 21 kilometres ahead of me. And it seems once you get going, your legs warm up and you sort of push yourself. But yeah, that would be the one thing that the Camino has taught me so far, how to push my own limits. Well, it's 5:10. I only made 17 kilometres today. Yesterday was the rain, today was the mud. Yesterday was my right knee. Today my left ankle's sort of swollen up. It's pretty much the story of my day. I sort of get in later than everyone else, even the pensioners pass me. So yeah, I'm lugging probably double the weight of what you should because of all this camera gear. Yeah, it's a long way to go. Don't know if my body's going to hold up, like I hope it does. But yeah, it's pretty slow going. The old knees are a bit sore. Hopefully my body will adjust. It's another 700 kilometres to go, but you gotta laugh. Well, it's a nice brisk morning this morning. In fact, they've forecast snow, so I definitely can't say that I won't be having the full El Camino experience. I pushed on last night and did the extra 4 kilometres that I sort of designated myself, so I did the 21. But by the time I got to the refuge, my ankle was pretty well shot. And today will be a fairly slow day, so it doesn't really matter how much gear I'm carrying because I'm only going to be limping along slowly anyway. But it was quite touching last night when I got in. A couple of people could obviously see that I was in a bit of pain and limping around, and a guy from Barcelona, a yoga teacher, who spoke very little English and I speak very little Spanish, but through a friend of his who spoke a little bit of English, offered to use some special cream to massage my ankle. And so he used this cream, massaged my ankle, wrapped it in a bandage. It was very touching. I'd never met him. We didn't speak the same language. We can only communicate in broken communication. But this is an example of the comradeship on the El Camino. Usually on the El Camino, all along the way, you get fountains where you can fill up with water. But today is a special day. I think this is a local winery, and they've provided both water and wine. So I think today will be a good way. In some way the Camino always provides. On the day of the rain, there was a restaurant with a warm cup of soup. Last night, after a day of mud, was a nice massage. And today, to take away the aches and pains, some lovely red wine. It's going to be slow going if I'm going to fill up this container, let me tell you. I've just walked 28 kilometres, and today was probably a good lesson in doing your own pace. I think the Camino, it's best to do it at your own pace, because for the last couple of kilometres I tried to keep up with these French girls, and they've just tired me out. It's probably also a good time to have an idea of what most refuges, or not most refuges, but the situation one can find themselves in a refuge. I think this one's called Refuge La Sardina. Yes, you can probably guess why. Last night I actually went to a pilgrims mass in Los Arcos, and the church was absolutely unbelievable. Like, there was gold on the altar. Every wall, every corner was covered with a painting or a statue, and it was just absolutely beautiful. And I stayed for the mass, and it was a pilgrim's mass, and at the end of the mass they gave us a blessing, and there was a little prayer of the pilgrim, or prayer of the pilgrims, which I quite like, and I'm just going to read some of it out. Be for us a companion on our journey, the guide on our intersections, the strengthening during fatigue, the fortress in danger, the resource on our itinerary, the shadow in our heat, the light in our darkness, the consolation during dejection, and the power of our intention. Pilar, you had an interesting way of explaining the different stages of the Camino. Yeah.
Well, it's something that people I know who made the Camino before told me. And it seems that there are 3 different parts in the Camino. The first one, we could say that is the physical part, because we are mainly aware of our body because of the pains and aches and problems we can have. We are really in touch with our body, with our sensations. I feel myself many times walking, how I'm putting my feet in the ground and how I'm feeling my back with all this weight. So our conscious is direct to the physical part. And then after some days walking, that our body is getting stronger and stronger because of the exercise, we don't think about that anymore. It's something that is just happening, walking. And it seems that this part is the time we walk through the flat land here in Spain, in El Camino. And it seems that is a difficult part because it's just flat and you can get bored. So many emotions arise because of that, because of the boredom. And then we deal with this part, not just because of the boredom, because of our own stuff. We have plenty of time to think, and even if you read the book I have, my guide, they talk about the loneliness of all this flat area. So we are really very in touch with ourselves. And then reaching already Santiago, Galicia, the last part, we overcome both physical and emotional, and then we are more in the spiritual side of us. We have transcended the physical and the emotional, and we reach this point that is a little bit the mystery or the solution, or I don't know, for whatever everybody is looking for during the Camino. So we'll see.
I've been going a week now. It's Sunday and I've had a bit of a rest day today. I've only walked 12 kilometres. I'm currently sitting in the ruins of a 11th century refuge, and by the way, maybe I should clarify, the word for the places that pilgrims stay is not refuge but albergue. But this is the ruins of an 11th century building that housed pilgrims. And it sort of hit me today as I was walking in just probably a kilometre down the road. There was a metal fence, just a mesh metal fence or wire fence, and pilgrims there was a pile of wood chips to one side, and pilgrims as had walked past, put crosses intertwined along the wire fence, and there were hundreds, probably stretching out for about a kilometre, and it just sort of hit me that that is the current history of the Camino. How many people have done it recently, but it's been going since the Middle Ages, so how many hundreds of thousands of people would have done this track? Today, I'm a little sick of the El Camino. I'm sick of walking. I'm sick of carrying this pack. I'm sick of carrying this camera gear. I'm sick of taking the camera out. I'm sick of pulling the camera apart, putting the camera together. I'm sick of getting woken up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm sick of the mud. I'm sick of the rain. Today, I'm just sick of it. It's about 7:15. I've probably walked the longest distance I have of the whole Camino today, well over 30 kilometres. And I don't know whether I'm on a runner's high or what, but I'm nearly at San Domingo, my location. And I'm just thinking about the things I'm going to change when I get back home. I want to buy a Harley Davidson motorbike. I want to keep physically fit. I want to do karate or something. I want to build my own house. I want to keep travelling. I want to keep making documentaries, travelling the world. I want to meet a special woman. I want to settle down. I want to have children. I don't know, I'm just feeling... I'm sick of the last couple of years I've spent a lot of my life seeing life through a computer screen, and I want to start living life, and I want to be fit again, like a warrior. Tonight is a good example of the spirit of comradeship on the Camino. This meal that we're sharing together has been prepared by many hands, nearly everyone at the table here. It was like a production line. And I might just get people to say what country they're from, just to give everyone an idea of just how multicultural we all are here. Well, I'm from Australia.
I'm from France. I'm from France. I'm from Germany.
I'm from Canada.
I'm from Spain.
I'm from Switzerland. Canada.
France. Pays Basque. Belgium.
Canada. France.
So there you go, give you some idea of the multiculturalism and the sharing that happens on the Camino. So bon appetit.
Qui sourit en mano, c'est le bonheur, et confiant en cet heureux présage, mes jeunes ans s'écoulent sans douleur. Il était doux le soir sur le parvis, les renards du village assemblés.
All right, well, we've had rain, we've had mud, and today is the day of the wind. All day there's been this energy sapping, bone chilling wind, probably coming all the way from the Galician coast, from Santiago itself. I've just been to the last town. There's no room at the albergue. I saw some of my friends there, but I'm moving on 9 kilometres. Having a ball. And just to show you have to be a little bit different to do the Camino, I'm now going to fly to the next town. So I've made it to Burgos, and we're staying at a hostel, a fairly select hostel where they only have 15 beds, and every night they put on a meal for the pilgrims. It's run by a secular group, a group of women, and it's probably just what I needed because I'm feeling a little bit tired today. I didn't really do much today. I just stayed at home, did my washing. So once again, the Camino provides when you need it. It is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Well, it's a beautiful day today. It's about 8:15. The Camino at the moment, I suppose, is getting a little bit monotonous, for me anyway. I've sort of pushed past the pain barrier. I still have aches and pains, but I know I can sort of do my 20 kilometres or whatever a day. But it's pretty much a lot of the same stuff at the moment. It's get up early, walk all day, a meal at night. But so it's probably a good time to maybe talk about why people do the Camino. And I've asked a lot of people along the way, and it's sort of quite fascinating. One thing that I found particularly fascinating is the number of older people who are doing the Camino. I'm talking people in their 70s, and apparently I haven't met anyone in their 80s, but people have met people in their 80s doing the Camino. I mean, it's hard enough for me. I can't imagine myself doing it as an 80-year-old. But people do it for various reasons. People, of course, do it for seeking some sort of spiritual or religious understanding in their life. People do it for members of their family who have maybe passed away. Some people do it for Thanksgiving, for what they see as for healing. And some people do it in the hope of healing. I suppose talking to people, one of the main reasons it seems to come through is people trying to find some sort of meaning or hoping to get some sort of meaning or understanding in their life. And I suppose my own reason is I heard about the Camino. It sounded fascinating. I was aware that a lot of people who do it find it as a life-changing event. And yeah, I suppose I don't know what I'm saying. What am I saying? What am I looking for? Is what I'm looking for the same as what I'm going to find? Is the reason that you do something, the same as what you get out of it? I suppose one thing that I'm trying to do on the Camino is, for one thing, I was raised a Catholic, and I suppose I've sort of drifted away from the church a bit, and I was hoping to sort of find some sort of new meaning in my spirituality. But at the moment, it's a slog. It's just every day. So let's see what becomes of it anyway. It's a long way to Santiago. It's a long way, you bet. It's a long way to Santiago, and I ain't even halfway yet. I've walked about 2 whole weeks. I've probably got another 3 to go. Oh, it's a long way to Santiago. It's a long way, you bet. Oh, it's a long way to Santiago. It's a long way, you bet. It's a long way to Santiago, and I ain't even halfway yet. I've been walking for about 2 whole weeks. I've probably got another 3 to go. Oh, it's a long way to Santiago. It's a long way, you bet. So we're currently in a 12th century restored, it was a refuge for the pilgrims. It's been restored. It's called St. Nicholas's. They have a shared meal every night. 12th century, can you believe that? It's just unbelievable. And we've got a dog here, thinking I've got a rabbit in my hand. But yeah, another refuge where they have the shared meal of a night. Fantastic. having all the time of walking can you start thinking about things in your lives and maybe problem areas of your life. And I also think maybe it raises these areas to a head where you're tested in these areas. Now, of course, that's different for each person. I don't think there's any need for me to go into the details of where I felt I've been tested. But yeah, it's today I've sort of been made aware of that, and yeah, it's you've got a lot of time to walk, a lot of time to think, and you know, things you think about your life. Something the other day made me feel maybe I'm on the right track with what I'm feeling on the Camino and maybe the experience of other people. The other day I was walking, I stopped, I had a break in a field, I took my shoes off, I took my socks off, and for one moment I just listened to the birds, I had the sun on my face, and I was in that moment. I wasn't thinking about where I was going to go, I wasn't thinking about where I'd been, I wasn't worried about the time or anything. I was just appreciating that very moment, which I suppose people just call meditation. You know, I've travelled all the way to Spain to experience that. It seems strange, but I was talking to another traveller, and he also, actually on the very same day, had the same experience. I was walking along with him. He was a managing director of an insurance company in Austria, and he had the very same experience on the very same day, which made me think, all right, well, maybe there are stages that people go through or shared experiences that we do have on the road. So it gave me hope that maybe I'm on the right track. There's been a lot of occurrences that have happened in the last couple of days that have been also sort of giving me a bit of a personal message. I learned about the Camino, as I've mentioned before, through reading a book by Paulo Coelho, the Brazilian author, called The Pilgrimage. And in this book, it talked about secret religious cults and esoteric secrets that everyone can learn. And for me, in my life, religion had become the magic had gone out of it. And to read this book and to read of these secrets and these secret societies and all this, it fascinated me. The Knights Templars and all this sort of stuff. And so I came to Spain with that sort of idea of I'll learn these secrets and whatever. I don't even know if I thought that, but this was in the back of my mind that maybe it will renew some sort of spirituality in me. But I tend to keep on getting these messages or these occurrences that keep telling me that religion shouldn't be like that. Religion should be open for all. It should be something very simple that everyone can understand, like the road, like walking the road. Because walking the road, I've got to learn about myself, how I can push myself, my tolerance levels. I've learnt to appreciate nature, as happened the other day, and maybe this idea is getting into my head that maybe through appreciating nature, then we form some sort of connection with, a divine being, whatever you want to call it, God. So this theory is sort of slowly developing. I don't think it's fully developed because, well, where's the love? There's no. I feel it's incomplete, but I feel as though there's something sort of stirring, and I mean, let's just see. I mean, and it really, some could say the Camino is just a walking holiday. Who are we? It seems everyone's expecting things. I'm expecting this, I'm expecting that. Should we even expect anything? Should we just do it? I don't know. Yeah, it's a funny stage. It's a funny stage. Today the Camino features a 17-kilometre stretch where there's no towns, no water, pretty much just flat, windy farming land. In a car, you'd probably do it in 10 minutes. Walking, I left at midday and it's now just after 5 p.m. and I still haven't reached the destination. What have I learnt today? I've learnt that if you find a patch on the Camino on the side of the road that looks like a good place to take a break, like a stone or something like that, a place to have lunch, another pilgrim's probably thought it's a good place to take a squat. Today's another fairly long stretch. It's 18.5 kilometres between towns. It's pretty well just flat land. And I really feel a need to walk alone at the moment. The last couple of days I've been walking with people and I just really feel I want to walk alone and think things through. I met a guy a while ago and it seems everyone's got a metaphor for the Camino, and this guy one morning was walking with the sun behind him and he could see his shadow, and his metaphor was it's only when you're in the light that you can see your dark side. And in the same way, I think in a minor way, the Camino makes you very aware of a lot of the crutches you may use every day. It sort of takes your mind off being in the moment. Like I find with myself, getting to the next town to have a cup of coffee, cigarettes, alcohol, a meal, looking at your clock and counting the time down. They're all things that sort of take you away from being in the moment. And probably reaching a sort of a meditational feel with the Camino. Sort of a bit of a hard time for me. I've just been thinking about a lot of stuff and stuff in my life, relationships and whatever, and it seems that the Camino brings all that to the boil. Events happen and makes you aware of these things, these little problem areas in your life, and it's sort of a bit of a hard time at the moment, I'm finding for myself. And I just want to be alone. I just want to walk it alone and hopefully get something out of it. Usually when you're doing the Camino, it feels a little bit strange to be in a big city. And I'm currently in Lyon and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying looking at all the beautiful women. I'm enjoying not feeling like a dirty hobo. I'm enjoying being away from other pilgrims. I'm enjoying staying away from the albergue as long as possible. It's just good. It's good to have a break from it. This morning was a fairly early start. There were people up at 4:30. Now I didn't have a bed in the main bedroom. I was actually sleeping in a hallway on a thin mattress, And so when I got woken up at 4:30, it was fairly cold, so I got up and I started walking. Now when you're getting up that early, you're walking for 2 hours in the dark. The problem is that we're getting closer to Santiago. It's a holy year. There's a lot of people doing the pilgrimage, so it's getting harder and harder to get a bed in the albergues. But I think it's really mean-spirited. It doesn't seem like the Camino to me, to be having to get up and to rush and to, like a race. It shouldn't be like that, and it's really sort of getting to me at the moment. I'm trying to keep my patience and not getting upset about it all. But yeah, it just doesn't seem the spirit. But yeah, it's just good to it's good to have a break from it all. I'm carrying a bit of an injury today. My right shin's sort of blown up, so the going's a bit hard, and I don't think I'll make my 20 kilometres. Today the Camino follows along or parallel to a highway. I haven't even taken a photo today. The scenery's been pretty ordinary. It's after Spanish siesta time, after 2 p.m. I'm lucky to have found some shade, and the only creatures that are out are mad dogs and pilgrims. I met an American professor recently who was on his way back from Santiago. He was doing the Camino for research purposes for a book. So he didn't really believe in all the mumbo jumbo, life-changing miracle stories of the Camino. So it was interesting to talk to him and ask him if he did get anything out of reaching Santiago, because I'm starting to wonder whether it's all worth it. And I've only got 300 kilometres to go. And he told me that just before reaching Santiago, he started thinking about his daughter, who he hadn't heard from for 40 years. He didn't even know what country she was living in. And he started thinking about ways that maybe he could try and find out where she was. When he reached Santiago, he checked his email and couldn't believe that after 40 years there was an email from his daughter. She was living in Scotland, she had children. He flew directly from Santiago to Scotland to visit her. And so there's an example of someone who really wasn't expecting anything out of the Camino, who had a pretty amazing experience. Because I'm starting to wonder, am I expecting too much? What if nothing happens? What if I just reach there and that's it? Just a long walking holiday. A long painful walking holiday. The shin isn't too good today, so I'm just going to do a short day. Just do about 4 kilometres, go to the next town and take it easy. I find in good going I can do about 4 kilometres an hour. To give you some idea of how slow I was yesterday because of the leg, it took me nearly 8 hours to do 17 kilometres, so nearly double the time that it would normally take. So I'm just going to take it easy. I don't want to sort of do a serious injury, and I actually thought I was through all this physical stuff, and you know, I'd have no problems with it. Yeah, who knows. Last night was a good night. I met up with 3 other guys, all younger than me, and we just sat and drank wine. And yeah, it was just really nice. It was nice to talk to other people about their experience on the Camino. And we're all talking about how like a 2-week period on the Camino would be like 2 months in real time. It's just such a, you have so many experiences on the road, and it's so action packed that it's a different idea of time. In the same way that we're slowing things down by walking, your time, a 2-week period seems like it's longer. And it was just good to, I mean, I maybe I'm sort of I'm expecting too much, and it was good just to have a fun experience with a couple of guys, a couple of drinks, talking a bit of crap. It was good. I had a strange thought last night. Like I was thinking maybe I'm not going to make it. Maybe the leg's going to play up and I'm not going to be able to walk all the way to Santiago. And then I'll tell you beforehand, I had an experience at Los Arcos at the church when I went to Mass, where I remembered, it came back to me, that when I did my confirmation all those years ago, probably nearly 20 years ago, that my saint that I chose, in Australia we choose a saint when you do your confirmation, was St. James. And it was just like this light bulb flashing in my head. And last night I sort of had this idea of, like, you know, St. James sort of saying, or something in my head going, you know, do you think I'm not going to let you make it? You know, it was just a weird thought. Yeah, who knows? All along the Camino there's some amazing history, and this is one such place. I'm currently in Hospital de Obrigo, and in 1434 there was a noble from Leon called Don Cero de Quioni. Now Don Cero loved a woman, but she didn't love him back, and so he's a little bit heartbroken, and he thought, what am I going to do with my life? He decided to come here. And at the time there were knights all along the way to Santiago, and their job was to protect pilgrims from bandits that were common in the Middle Ages. But these knights had started fighting amongst themselves to prove who was the strongest, and so they were forgetting about their main role of protecting the pilgrims. So Don Cero came to this town and put out a challenge to all knights along the way that he was the strongest and the toughest of all knights. And so challenges came from here and there, and they passed this bridge to the side here, which was known as the Honourable Passage, and they fought with Don Cero. And the battles went on for several days, and Don Cero won all those battles. And in the end, the result of his work was that the knights no longer fought amongst themselves, but went back to protecting the pilgrims. And today, we are about to have a reenactment of the days of the knights. I'm battling against Andre the Giant from Germany. This is a real battle. We have our armour, our backpacks, and here we go. It's a glorious day today on the Camino. The sun's shining and there's not a cloud in the sky. And I'm about to embark on another stage of the journey where we actually ascend into some mountains. And I'm quite looking forward to it. The change of scenery. It's going to be fun. I'm starting to see the journey so far in a different light. I'm starting to feel that both the mental and the physical suffering that I've sort of gone through is maybe some sort of purification process. I'm still not sure why one needs to be purified when they reach Santiago, but I'm sure that'll come to me. Behind me is Cruz de Ferro, which is an important stage on the way of St. James, and it actually predates to before this route being used as a pilgrimage route. The ancient Celts had a practice of, when passing over a mountain, leaving a stone atop that mountain to appease the mountain gods. The Romans took on this practice and they'd leave a rock to appease their god Mercury. When this became a pilgrimage route, it became Christianised, a cross was put above the pile, and now it's suggested that you bring a rock from your home country on the final day that you're walking up to Cruz de Ferro, you hold that rock in your hand, you feel its weight, and you think about a problem in your life, and you put that problem into that rock, and you walk and you think about the weight that problem has in your life. And then when you reach Cruz de Ferro, you throw that rock onto the pile, and apparently the problem in your life goes. Now, I only found out about this practice on arriving to Spain, so I didn't actually bring a rock from Australia. But before being told, I'd actually collected 3 rocks along the way. So I have 3 different problems that today I'm going to get rid of, which I'm quite happy about. I'm currently standing in the ruins of the Knights Templar castle in Ponferrada, and this is an interesting stage in my own personal journey because the Knights Templars were an order that I was quite fascinated with. For me now, being here, it's just a ruined castle. I'm not searching for some mysticism or whatever in my spirituality anymore. What I've found on the road is a simplicity in my spirituality, a simplicity in understanding myself, understanding that there's someone who's created this beautiful world and having a relationship with that person. It's as simple as that. And that's a good thing. I don't have to worry about being a member of any secret order or any bullshit like that. It's just me and God, and I like it that way. Today's been quite a testing day. This morning when I got up and went to take my first digital picture for the day, I realised that my digital camera is playing up, the zoom isn't working, the focus is sort of a bit funny, so there'll probably be no more stills for the rest of the next, well, what's remaining of the Camino. Another thing happened also. I set up my video camera and I got a shot this morning, and then I started talking to this Costa Rican guy, and then I moved on another 50 meters and saw another shot that I liked and went to set up, and I couldn't find my tape. He stayed with my gear and I went back to the original location and luckily found the tape wedged between the footpath and some grass. And as I was walking back to the location to find the tape, I was understandably feeling quite nervous about it all, that I wouldn't be able to find the tape and that I wouldn't be able to complete the film, that there'd be something missing. And I realised how important this film is to me. It's probably more important than reaching Santiago. It's more important than getting my certificate. And I mean, I could be upset about the camera breaking down, but I just thought, well, maybe it's another test. Maybe, I mean, Jesus was a good storyteller. Maybe he was getting sick of the stills. He wanted a bit of action. So I thought it's probably time in this beautiful location. It's a really hot day again. And I'm just down by this river. I've just wet my hair, dipped my feet in the beautiful cool water. It's fantastic. And it's probably time to pull out the tin whistle. Today's one of the harder days on the Camino. We actually rise up from about 600 metres to 1300 metres over less than 10 kilometres. Unlike the first day though, from St. John Pier de Port to Rosenval, I feel a bit battle hardened for this one, so it's not really concerning me. But it's beautiful countryside, crystal clear streams, ancient forests. It's absolutely magnificent. Better keep going before that sun gets hot. Beautiful view, hey? Well, I've reached O Sobrero. I'm now in Galicia and I only have 150 kilometres to go. So about a week. If you told me I was going to walk 150 kilometres by itself before doing the Camino, I'd tell you you were crazy. But now, 150 kilometres seems nothing. Back to the view. I haven't said anything to camera now for a couple of days. And I suppose it's because I feel a little bit guilty with myself. I was reaching a stage where I was very much enjoying my daily walk, and it had become like a meditation. I've now been walking for about 32 days. When I first started, I needed to use sunscreen and wear a hat. Now it's like I'm part of nature. I enjoy the sun on my face. I enjoy listening to the birds. I enjoy looking at the old trees. I enjoy looking at the patterns in nature and the beautiful flowers. For the last 100 kilometres, the Camino gets very busy, particularly this year, which is a holy year. Because if you do the last 100 kilometres, when you reach Santiago, if you're a Catholic and you go to confession, you get forgiveness of all the sins of your life. So for people who haven't got the time to do the French way, as I've done, the full 4 weeks, and particularly for the Spanish, they just do the last 100 kilometres. So it's quite busy, and I've probably enjoyed too much spending time in bars and the like. So in a way, I feel a bit guilty. I feel maybe I've missed out on something. Maybe this walking meditation, this communing with nature thing was going to lead somewhere else. And it's about 75 kilometres from Santiago. And I don't know, I mean, it's been an amazing experience, but can I say it's been a spiritual experience? I don't know yet. I'm now about 16 kilometres from Santiago. I've been walking for 34 days. Last night was a bit of a hard night. I was travelling with some Spanish people. We arrived at the albergue very late. There was only room on the floor. And usually in an albergue, you can imagine you've got a lot of people in a room. There's a lot of snoring. Sometimes it's like a symphony. Last night it was like we were in a hospital ward. There was also a lot of coughing, and I also had food poisoning. So I didn't get much sleep, and I'm feeling a little precious today. The last time I spoke to camera, I said that I was feeling a little bit guilty about the fact that now I've been very much enjoying this time and have met some fantastic Spanish people. I now believe that, I'm walking alone today, and I can still get the walking meditation feeling. But I have to re-enter life. I have to go back to a job. I have to live in a city. I have to deal with traffic, difficult people. You can't just sit in the field and meditate all day. So I feel this stage at the moment is like a re-entering life, and very much a celebration of life. And I've enjoyed it. And I really like the Spanish people and the Spanish culture. I also said that the Camino hadn't been so much a spiritual experience. I find it very hard to speak about my own spirituality. The fact that I have conversation with God, the fact that for this whole trip I felt very much protected. And I think it gets back to simplicity, the simplicity of walking the road, the simplicity of getting to know yourself, of appreciating nature, and appreciating that someone created that nature. It's very simple. It's very simple. For me, it's very simple. I've reconnected with God. I have conversation or prayer with Him, and I feel very much protected, as though everything will be all right. And I've met a Spanish guy, and I've sort of told him about my experiences, and we've got a phrase that we use: go with the flow. And it's like, I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist, in my work, and it's probably the reason I'm still single. No one's ever been good enough. And it's like I'm always trying to impose my will. And I've learnt by walking, I've watched the farmers in the fields and thought, you can't, you have to plant a crop at the right time, you have to harvest a crop at the right time. And you have to go with the flow. Man, I'm sounding like a hippie. But I'm really starting to realise that all the little worries we have, a lot of them we create ourselves by just not accepting, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I'm nearly there. And I am looking forward to it. And it has been an amazing experience.